Okay guys, so we did a job yesterday and we were hydroseeding lawns, and I I ended up budgeting for 2 days for the amount of workload that we were doing. However, we ended up just staying late, working late, me and my son, and we ended up just killing it all yesterday. So today we actually have today off, but you never really have the day off when you have your own equipment. So I thought today would be a good time to change the oil in the Peterbilt, because the miles is getting up there. So what I like to do is I like to change the oil in the large trucks around usually around 7,000 miles. See, they say 10 of 10. And the reason why is I bought this truck in 2010 in California, and I drove it back and I put a couple thousand, probably about 3,000 miles on it. I brought it back here. I decided I didn't like the bed, and then the truck got parked. From when those were put on till now is right around 7,000 miles, which is kind of hard to believe. But I'm not in the trucking business. A lot of times we'll drive to a job site and this truck will just sit there. Now is the time, according to the miles. I am chewing gum, sorry, but my wife has me on a diet and I'm starving all day. So the oil filters have an old date on them, but they only have like 7,000 miles on them. I don't go by the dates. I don't know why that dude goes by the dates. Should put the miles or hours if it's a machine on them, not dates, because like I said, dates don't mean anything. These filters were brand new in 2010, but the truck sat for years. So I put the truck on the road the end of last year, I think. Or no, I'm sorry. I put the truck on the road spring of last year. Then we ran it around town for a little bit, and now I do believe the miles are up to where those filters are now old. So we're going to change those. And they're two different filters. I went and got new ones, and I will... one of them I already cracked loose, and I got the drain pan down there, but I think both these filters will probably fill that thing right up. And this thing, I need a new dipstick. I don't have an oil leak. This thing comes loose sometimes and just blows oil all over the place. So, and then it leaks down the tube and splatters around. So let me get these filters off, and then we'll look inside and see the difference between filters, because they are two different filters that go onto the oil cooler. And this is a Big Cam Cummins model number NTC 855. Alright, so here's the truck all painted. Came back from the paint shop. I was going to do a long video about this. I actually recorded a video talking about all the things I was not happy with about the paint job. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to post that video. Probably going to delete it because it's wicked negative. It's kind of like, it's just a negative, sour video. And I watched it, and I did have the truck painted twice, and I still have some little imperfections like that, and there was just a bunch of other issues. And I gotta be honest with you, yeah, well, story behind that is my pickup truck in high school, I painted it after school and on the weekends at this tow yard I worked at, and the paint got mixed wrong, and the color came out like this, and I hated it at first. And then the other thing is, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I grew up with her. She found out she was pregnant with my oldest son, who works with me. And all the guys at the shop kept calling me Papa Smurf. So rather than see it as a negative, I'm just gonna embrace it. So I think we're just gonna call this truck Papa. Anyways, here's the paint job. It did get painted twice in the, you know, which I guess is okay because the guy gave me a bill at the end, which was double his initial quote. So it's only fitting he does the work twice since he charged me twice. But I could go on for days about that. Really not happy, but it's super negative. My attitude about it is really sour, and I'm just don't wanna relive it. So we're gonna change the oil. I'm just gonna go ahead and loosen these with these big pliers. That way I don't have to use them again. And whenever you're working with a truck that's just been painted, put the stuff on the ground. That way it doesn't fall and smack things. I gotta repaint the frame too. He got overspray everywhere, but whatever. Alright, so the best way to do this, I found, is to reach from the bottom, but taking out the top. Now you can see the size of the hole in that one. So, and you can smell the oil. The oil is like old and cruddy. I'm gonna pour some out into the pan. I'm probably gonna pour most of it out in the pan. And then I'm gonna dump the pan on the ground like an idiot. Twice. Like an idiot. Alright. Now I'm gonna have to deal with that oil. Alright. Hold on, let me get a rag and I'll check back. Alright, so put some rags down. I'll have to. So I put the pan on the ground and I put rags down to soak up what's spilt on the ground. It was only a little bit. I parked my pickup here and it leaks anyways, so not that I like doing that stuff because I do have a dog. But sometimes it just happens. So this one is the front one. It's very, very good idea to check out. Remember which one is which. And I do believe they got different threads anyways. They're not the same filters. So, I'm gonna have to okay. Huh. Interesting. I think we may have gotten from the truck place the wrong filters. I gave them the part numbers, but I have a funny feeling we got the wrong filters. Maybe. Because this one has a ton of little holes in it, but they're supposed to have two different threads he gave me, and well, quite frankly, these don't so when I turned in, I gave him the part number. He said one of these was for a Detroit and one was for a Cummins. He says it doesn't make sense, and I'm like, well, I don't know. All I know is these are the part numbers. So he gave me what he believes belongs on a on the Cummins, and I, for some reason, think, because that's the problem with old trucks. So I think one of these is wrong, but we're gonna go see if we can match them up. So if you look at the holes in the center, the thread size, this one's slightly smaller than this one, and only has 2 holes in it, and this one has a ton of holes in it. And I'm gonna get out the other filters that the guy gave me. And he's a reputable guy. I just, you know, I got to, I'll have to answer him back. He's a reputable truck place. It's just when you give him the part numbers, that's what they give you. Okay, so what he gave me is pretty much same thing. 2 holes, smaller thread size. A whole bunch of holes. I don't know if you can see that. And slightly bigger thread size. It's just a weird looking filter. So the bigger one in the front has this rubber collar in there, because that spout that comes down on the truck actually goes through that rubber, makes a seal. So that one there, I don't think it has one on it. Doesn't look like it. And then this one here, nothing comes down on there. There's no spout or snout or whatever you want to call it that comes down. So at first I was thinking I had the wrong filters, but like I said, my guy is an older guy who's been working on these things forever, and he just told me flat out that this is what the computer says. And I got Fleet Guard filters, and we will write the miles on these, not the date, because like I said, the date doesn't matter, because it's miles or hours if you have an hour meter. So like my old 1979 tractor trailer that I was running had an hour meter, so I would change the oil based off of the hour meter. This truck doesn't have one. I'm going to change this one off of miles. The date doesn't matter, because if you don't, let's say you break your leg and you don't work all summer, you're not putting miles on the truck. There's nothing that's getting pushed through these filters. So that's why I don't like putting dates on the filters.
What are you doing there, guy?
Trying to hold the door open, guy.
Trying to hold the door open.
The door.
With the lawnmower.
The shed, we just had to re-level the shed because it wasn't, and I think it permanently kind of bent the door. Alright. So what I usually use is Rotella. I don't usually use it, I always use it. It's just, I've always used it and I haven't had any problems. So, alright, we're gonna do the big filter first, because it's harder. It's when you're reaching in there, you want to put them on the way you took them off. And this one is a little bit bigger, and you need kind of more room where this one is. And whenever you do any filters, and from what I understand, even the new pickup trucks are sensitive to not having oil in the filter. So what I like to do is I just fill the filter up. And it'll rise right up to the top right away, but then it will go down as it fills all the paper folds. And this is so when you turn the truck on, you know, you're not pumping to fill this thing. See how it's just going and it's bubbling out, and then it went down. Still going, still going. It's still going. I might have to go refill this. So because we're not to the top. And I like to go to the top. So let me refill this jug, because I got 2 5-gallon pails. You're not gonna, I mean, you can, but I mean, we might, but that's kind of hard to put it in there. Oh, the other thing too is take a little bit of the clean oil and then just rub it around the rubber ring before you screw it on, like so. So let me get some more oil, and we'll check right back. Alright, grab that filter, please.
Yep.
Alright, hold on. What I like to do is make sure you have a clean screwdriver. Poke a hole in there so it can breathe. Because if not, it'll just glug, 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 and then just spill everywhere. I was going to refill that other jug, but I really don't like to do that, because trying to shoot for that little hole on that thing doesn't make sense, because the filter, come on, don't rip on me. There we go. Watch out for splatter too, because it's easier to pour all in the holes around here if you miss the hole. I mean, look at the size you have to shoot versus that other thing. So my son's just gonna hold that down. Just put the bottom right on the ground. Let it sit on the ground. And if we spill any oil in the shed, I'm not worried about it, because it preserves the wood anyways. So, see what I mean about, oh, and that's it. It'll bubble and go down a little bit, as long as it's, and I'll put the cap back on here. And if you're not going to use the whole pail, you need to leave the screwdriver or the plug in that breather hole that you made. But we're going to use this whole pail today, so I'm not worried about it. Now we got to go screw this on the truck. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Whenever you're screwing these on, I just wipe this off. Try to wipe these off and keep them clean, because if it slips out of your hand and falls, you could get, and it lands on the ground, you could get dirt in there. So you don't want to get dirt in there. So your new filters got to be kind of clean on the outside. And then I also like to hold my hand over the top as I'm going down, so if I bump into something on the way down, right, it'll hit the top of my hand. And then this just goes on there. You can feel it go through the inner rubber. And then you screw it on like so. Because the inside center has a rubber that goes over that spout. But when I tilted it in here, I spilt a little bit of oil, so maybe on the next one I won't fill it up as much. But I don't care if I spill a little bit. I'd rather have the filter full than know that I ain't gonna have any issues. And then I'll tighten that one up. Gotta get a rag, but before I take these gloves off and clean that one up, let's go fill the other one. Okay, the reason I haven't put it on the ground is because then he's just balancing it. He's not trying to hold it, hold it up at the same time as balancing it. Alright, just sit it flat. This one's got tighter folds in the filter paper, so you gotta fill this one slower. I'm not even sure if we need to fill this one, but I'm gonna do it anyways. My dog digging holes. Hey! You see him just run?
Yeah.
Like he's guilty? He's guilty conscience? Roman! No, sit. No, go lay down. Now he's going to lay on the grass, good. I don't want him digging holes. Kicking up dirt and dust and... See, I don't mind, I like when it spills the oil, it just preserves the wood. Yeah. I'd rather have it in the wood than in the driveway. Garbage truck, you think?
Nah.
Boom!
Oh, yeah.
Garbage truck. They always have a distinctive sound.
I thought it was going to be a tree truck.
No,
Tree removal. Boom lift truck.
I'll let you know when I see one of them coming. Or when I hear one coming.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, it's not sinking no more. It's going a little bit.
Yeah, but that's okay. I think we're pretty much at the top.
That's full.
Alright. Let's go screw this one on. I gotta clean it off first because it's gonna be slippery. I just gotta, like I said, this one's crazy slippery. I can feel them slipping. Okay. Alright. Now, what I like to do is get rid of the gloves. Your hands are sticky and sweaty. I'll get a rag and I'll clean around there and I hand tighten them. I mean, people always think that you have to put a filter wrench on and you gotta crank the crap out of it. You really don't. I mean, if you have strong hands, I have strong hands, you can just put them on real tight. And even the ones I've put on real tight by hand, later on I come back, I can't take them off. You know what I mean? I still have to get a filter wrench to take them off. So that's what I'm saying. Don't be afraid to just hand tighten as hard as you can by hand. So I'm just going to try to dry them off a little bit from where I spilt them. Now, that's not that bad. This one's a little slippery still. Horn blows.
Low battery.
So that's pretty tight. You can see it smush the rubber and push everything out a little bit. Now we'll do the other one. Oh, this one's covered in oil at the bottom. So this says Cummins right on it. Cummins, not Cummings. I always call it Cummings, but it's Cummins. Don't worry about which way the labels are facing. That has nothing to do with the thread and how tight it is. If it so happens to be that way, it so happens to be that way, but don't plan on it. Alright, so what I gotta do next is I gotta get a bigger drain pan to drain the oil out of the oil pan, and then we'll check back in. So I have a quick dump on the oil pan, and just give it a little. Alright, you take this, it goes that way, and then, see, it's got dirt in it, but it's got a ball valve. If this camera focus, see? The spring loaded, so you pull the spring backwards and then down. And then you just let it dump. So you don't have to mess with the oil plug. So I'll let all this drain out, and then we'll check back, because we're gonna be here a while. It's 10 gallons. Alright, so I got all the oil out of there. All those are full. I just talked to a guy. He's gonna take them for a waste oil burner for heat in his shop. So I gotta load them up after. But I got the plugs obviously turned off. I did re-tighten those a little more. They went a little more. And now I'm gonna climb up there with the pail and pour the oil in the top. And what I like to do is, usually I will leave the dipstick out. And I'll leave the dipstick kind of out until we get, you know, at least a couple gallons in there. Tire's usually pretty clean on top, but I'll wipe it all off after before I put it. So I gotta climb up there. So this truck is covered in blue overspray dust, and from the body shop, but I'll have to clean it up later. But for now, oh, this is starting to slip. Get slippery. So I'll put the 2 pails in here, and then we'll check the dipstick, see where we're at on the stick. Alright, so I poked a hole in this pail, got the top off. But just let that sit for a second like that. Easiest way to do this, pick the pail up first, put it on the tire. Then I put my foot on the frame rail, not the hose. So I'm on the frame rail. Then take this off. The tire's holding it. I got the other cap up there. Then what I'll do is take this, lift it up, and then there we go. And then I'll probably do half this thing and check it, which is not, it's not going to read anything. I know it takes about 10 gallons, but just to be on the safe side, I just like to do it. To get a proper reading though, you really should wait a while for it to drain down through the motor and leak into the bottom, because I'm pouring it through the top. So I had a truck one time that I used to drive. It had an NBN single turbo Caterpillar engine, 03, and the truck had 1.3 million miles on it, and it needed to be rebuilt. Had a lot of blow by, but what we were doing is I was doing 6 gallons of regular oil and then 4 gallons of Lucas oil stabilizer, and I did that for like the last 300,000 miles of the truck's life, and got the truck up to 1.3 original miles. I'm just gonna pull the whole 10 in it. I know it's gonna take it. So the guy I bought this truck off of always used Shell Rotella, and I've always used Shell Rotella in it and my pickup truck. And my pickup truck is a 7.3 diesel with 240,000 original miles on it. Never had a check engine light on in its life. So I know there's a bunch of people that probably want to use some other stuff. My mechanic friend that I had adjust my motor in my other truck used to use Dello. I think that's like saying it right, Dello. But I never had a problem with that either. That's good stuff. But the point of it is I like to just stick to what works. You know what I mean? It's like when you go to a restaurant and my wife's like, try something new. And you always get the same thing, and I go, yeah, because if I have a problem, I'm stuck with it. If you use the same thing over and over, you know what you're getting. Okay. Alright guys, so I poured the 2 pails in there. It's 10 gallons. If I remember correctly, the guy I bought this truck off of said that this dipstick is slightly wrong, and to be full it should be a hair down from the top line, which, you know, the full line. But so, and I remember this truck has always, since the day I got it, like to be a little bit down. Like if you fill it up to that top mark, it'll burn down to where it's happy, and then it just stops, which is weird. But the guy I bought it off of in 2010 told me that it does that, and yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but that's exactly where it is. Ever since I bought this truck, that's how it's been. It's literally like a 1/4 inch down from the top line is where it likes to stay, and that's 3/4 of the operating range, so it's good, and it's just always been happy there. Now the next filter I'm going to change, which hasn't been changed for a long time, is this coolant filter right here, this little one. So stay tuned for that. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to change the coolant filter, and I got the new one here, which sounds weird, but whatever. I guess that's what they're supposed to sound like. And I don't know if I can get this off by hand. I'm gonna try. If I could get the leverage. It's been on here for a long time. Now it's like a mission. Yeah. Oh. I gotta get the pan. Last time I changed one of these on another truck, nothing came out, so that's why I didn't get the pan this time. All over my alternator. I'm gonna shut these valves off. That one feels frozen. I'll shut this one off. Maybe we can stop the flow. Come on, shut off. Alright, hold on, because it's just siphoning. This little valve doesn't wanna. It don't wanna. Let's shut all these valves. Like I said, the last time I did one of these, that nothing came out of it. There's a valve back here too. I'm gonna shut that one off. Alright, this valve here, I shut this valve off. This valve here goes to your heater core. Your heater core in the truck. This is, in the summer you shut this off. Probably gonna shut this off and leave it off anyways because I don't need it. And usually you want to shut this valve off anyways when you're gonna run the air conditioning, because now you're cooling down the AC. Then the thing is just struggling to get ice cold. So you shut the coolant off going to there. Now the other thing is this valve up here is a little valve, and I think I could isolate this filter, but the problem is this valve does not want to turn. It's like an old cast iron or brass head on it, and you know if you force it, it's just gonna snap off. And I don't want it to snap off like halfway closed or something. So I'm just gonna go for broke. If I gotta add some coolant, I will. Alright. So that's not too bad. But this filter was bad. Crap. Got little pieces of rust in it. Well, I'd say we may have lost like a quart. Ah, stop. Cut it out. I'm gonna have to dry that off and then give it the muscle. Maybe one of these days I'll replace this little valve, but today's not the day. Because we gotta work tomorrow. And it's too late in the day to find parts. And where I live, I have to travel quite far to get heavy truck parts. Yesterday I went and got all this stuff. I'm gonna give her enough. Okay. What I did was I wrote mile, abbreviation. I know I got chicken scratch, but you just take a Sharpie and you write mile 6829. So that's the last 4 of the mileage on the truck right now. So if we did another 7,000 miles before the oil change again, it would be due 3829, because, you know, I'm not going to count the 1 for the 13. So that's going to be it for today. And that's going to be it for changing the fluids. So anyways, stay tuned and check you on the next one.